Jack, thank you very much indeed for joining me. Your paper was a very well received paper at this year's MAP event in Houston. What I'd like you to do is just give us a quick summary of the key ideas that you were seeking to communicate.
So thank you for the question, Edwin. My name is Jack Grogan. I am a senior account manager for VPS, the global leader in marine fuels testing. There were two key points for my paper. The beginning of the paper was about the recent chlorinated hydrocarbon contamination in Singapore. It's probably the biggest fuel quality problem in 4 or 5 years. So I wanted to communicate to the audience the benefits of the fuels testing, the potential negative impacts of this type of fuel. We have seen dozens of ships that had some damage from this. The basic test scope doesn't quite cover everything. It doesn't provide bulletproof protection. So I wanted to communicate to the audience some of the benefits of GCMS testing and the headaches that that type of testing can prevent.
And certainly, the paper inspired a range of questions. What for you were the key talking points, and was there anything in them that surprised you?
Um, I wouldn't say that I was surprised. Every 4 or 5 years or so, the industry goes through similar events. Back in 2018, there was a similar large event involving cumulphenol contamination. Um, so the questions weren't surprising. I would say maybe the thing that does surprise me is that even though these events tend to repeat themselves, not quite everyone learns from history. There are some people that have to learn things the hard way rather than taking proactive measures. Uh, they take reactive measures. So, I would say the message I'd like to give is take proactive measures, spot troubles before they happen, and you'll save yourself a lot of heartache in the end.
Obviously, this is a conference dealing with decarbonisation and the industry complying with ever more stringent environmental legislation. What do you see as the link between what you presented and those objectives?
Well, it's all about emissions. So, in order to minimize your emissions, what you really want to do is have the most fuel efficient operation. The less fuel you consume, the less emissions your ship will give off. And part of that is managing your fuels and lubricants properly. So, in order for your machinery to operate at its peak efficiency, you need to have your fuels and lubricants in good order. They need to match up with one another. Mismatches in sulfur levels and base numbers can cause operational issues. So, whenever these things happen and the engines are not running at peak efficiency, that'll increase your emissions. At times, you may even have black smoke coming out of the stack when things are not operating correctly. So, the VPS approach has been to offer fuel testing, oil condition monitoring, and our latest is the MARAS decarbonisation software, which actually monitors the CO2 emissions and allows ship owners to see what's going on with their fleet. So, one of the keys to decarbonization is you first need to know how much CO2 you're emitting, then you can take actions to reduce it and track it.
And finally, Jack, how did you find this year's conference? Obviously, the first one, first live one in at least a couple of years. How did you find the whole event?
Well, first of all, I would say that it was great to get back to face conferencing. During the pandemic, I did participate in a number of virtual events, but I think we all know face to face adds a little something else. It allows you to take people offline and have a more personal one to one chat. I would say ship owners today have lots of big decisions to make in the coming years regarding alternative fuels and decarbonization. The Riviera conference brought together a wide range of speakers covering many topics, and potential future solutions. And I know that after my speech on contaminated fuels, I had several attendees approach me afterwards looking for more information. So making those type of connections is what conferencing is all about. That's why we attend conferences. So I would say the event was a success, and happy to be a part of it.